Well, hello, everybody. I don't know how many of you are out there watching. I don't have, it looks like there's 4 in here now already, so that's good. Thank you for being here. If you don't know us, if this is maybe your first time seeing our faces, I'm Rich and this is Robbie. And we have a channel called Before It's Too Late. And we talk about all things related to retirement. Just to give a little bit of history about our channel, we started it together June of last year. And at that point, we hadn't made any decisions about retirement. We kind of had an idea about when I was going to retire and whether Robbie was going to keep working after I retired. And we talked it through. A lot of talking it through was right here on the channel, thinking about the stuff that everybody thinks about as they approach retirement. And yeah, there
was some life things that happened that kind of encouraged us along that route. Basically.
Yeah, some things happened in the interim, and I actually retired in the first week of May of this year. And since then, we've been basically talking about what life is like in retirement, and we've had some challenges since then as well. So, just because you retire doesn't mean everything
is rosy.
Yeah, becomes
easy.
Yeah, easy to do and easy to be, right? Life still throws curves at you for sure.
Right.
So it's really great to, I'm seeing some people now say some stuff in the chat. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And Mike, I see you're in there, and you're the one that inspired us to do this live stream. I did that little live stream with you. So I appreciate that. And for those of you that maybe didn't see that, Mike in Retirement is his channel. He does live streams every once in a while, and he talks about retirement too. And hi, Sheila. I know you've been with us since the beginning. So thank you for tuning into this as well. And yeah, there's more people coming into the chat now. So we appreciate that. So
we do. And a lot of you have, I just wanted to say thank you to all of you that have kind of asked where I've been, because I've kind of stepped back a little bit. Things have been pretty crazy and busy since Rich retired. And you got busy doing some interviews with people. And so I just kind of took a break from being on. So I'm here and I'm glad to be back. And it's good to see all you that are joining. And so, yeah, we're just going to see how things go tonight.
Yeah. So as we get into this, I did a little bit of an intro already, a little bit of the history of our channel, but just I guess if you're new to the channel or maybe you're watching for the first time, the impetus behind it was to talk about retirement. We started just talking about the lead up, everything from what we're going to do for healthcare and what we're going to do with our time and all that stuff. And then I had a bit of a health scare late last year. And when that came out okay, I had a conversation with God, and God spoke to me and said, brother, you said you were going to retire, so you're going to retire. And I pretty much put my notice in shortly after that. And that was in January timeframe. And I retired in May, pretty much right after I turned 59 and a half.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And also, since we started the channel, Robbie lost her job kind of unexpectedly.
Right. That was as we had started kind of talking about retirement. Our first initial plan was that Rich was going to retire when he turned 60. And then I am 57 and I was going to continue to work. I was only working 3 days a week, but I was going to continue to work just to have some added extra income and
pay for health insurance.
Right. He was going to retire at 60. I was going to keep probably working at least for a couple years, maybe 3 years, whatever it was going to be. And then unfortunately, last August in 2024, out of the blue, I was terminated from my position that I was at. And that was totally not expected. Did not see that coming. It was very unfortunate. And so that kind of threw kind of a glitch in what our plans were. I was not ready to be done working, or at least so I thought. And maybe it was more because I felt like I should be working because I am younger than Rich and I should continue on and be able to help contribute some money towards health insurance. But long story short, some other things happened. My dad had an accident. I was able to care for him, make some trips to Iowa. And then we had this health scare with Rich with prostate cancer. And by then we had pretty much decided that you were going to retire no matter what. And who knows what I was going to do. So
yeah, we didn't take the decision very lightly at all, and
spent a lot of time praying about it.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time talking to our financial guy about it, and he continued to tell us, you can do this, and you've got you're prepared yourself well enough financially to be able to sustain the ups and downs in the market or whatever may lie ahead. And really, like Robbie said, we did a lot of praying about it, and it came down to, do we have enough?
Yeah.
Right. And are we happy with where we are in life? And did we need to accumulate more stuff and, make our bank account bigger? And the answer was, we have enough.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the hard part, there's been several hard parts of that, and we've talked about this. We've done some show videos about this. But everybody always, for me, I always had that number in my head. Like Rich wasn't going to retire till he was 60. I probably wasn't going to retire till I was 60. And so when all of this kind of just came about and our financial advisor was like, you guys are okay, you can do this, I was really, and still sometimes have trouble wrapping my head around that we are okay. And that we can't do it. There's the numbers game. You either think you have to be a certain age, you have to have a certain amount of money. And really, you don't. I mean, when you look at it, if you look at it and you have somebody you trust that goes through it with you and you are okay financially, do it.
Right. Yeah. And if you've been watching the channel the last couple of months, I've been interviewing people that are retired, different ages, different situations. Some people I knew, some people sent something to me after I asked on the channel here if they'd like to be interviewed. And I have yet to talk to that person that said, I retired too early. And even when, several months ago, I interviewed our financial guy and he said the same thing. He's met with a lot of people pre and post retirement, and all of those that are post retirement, he's never had someone say, I went too soon. So, that's kind of been the focus of our channel, is getting people to, take a hard look at the actual numbers, not just what you think you need and how old you think you need to be, but you can go if you want to, if you're in the right position. Now, I know there's some folks out there that, I don't think unless the person's here and hasn't made a comment. I've got one viewer I know for sure that talks about, what if you really like your job? And by no means am I saying if you really like your job and you don't have a desire to retire, then keep working. I mean, that probably will keep you alive longer than wishing you didn't, or wishing you didn't keep working, I guess. Right. So,
well, that kind of goes hand in hand with, you interviewed my father. Rich interviewed my father a month or two ago, and my dad is a perfect example. 84 years old, was still working full time, essentially between several different jobs. And he was doing that because he wanted to. He enjoyed it. It was his social avenue of connecting with people. My mom died back in 2014, and that was just kind of his therapy. So there's definitely circumstances where it is advantageous for you to continue to work, and that's okay. But basically, I think we're just saying, don't be afraid to look at it,
and don't be afraid to take the leap if you want to. As a matter of fact, I think next week's video that'll come out next Thursday will be with my stepbrother, who retired from the military several years ago, and then is still working full time, training people to do what he did when he was in the military. And we'll talk about that a little bit next week. But again, he has no desire to retire. He's just a couple years younger than me, and has zero inkling that he wants to quit working. And he's happy and fulfilled. So
go for it.
Yeah, good on him. So I see some of you in the comments, and it'd be great to know where everybody's at. There's some people in the comments that are local here, friends of ours, and thanks for that. A couple things I want to talk about before we get into kind of some questions that we've got, and any question you may have in the comments, please leave it there. But and I guess Mark, you asked this question in the comments already, like what is retirement like? Is it everything I thought it would be? It is, in the sense that it's probably more than I thought it would be. I'm enjoying myself way more than I thought I would.
He's thrilled.
Yeah, I couldn't be happier that I haven't had any second thoughts about the decision at all. I think there's been some surprises, both good and bad surprises about retirement. For me, some good things. I'm finding new hobbies. Like, I have really gotten into pickleball, and that has taken up a bunch of my time. It continues to take up a bunch of my time every week. But also, real recently, I've kind of decided I like plants, and that may sound weird.
It's the craziest thing. I've never, he's never expressed interest in plants. And I wish I could flip the camera around and show you guys his office, because there's plants all over the place on the other side of that camera. And it's like, I don't even know where that came from. But you know what? He could pick worse things to become obsessed with. So I'm okay about it being plants.
So the good thing is I'm able to explore some new hobbies. And then also, surprisingly, I thought I was going to golf a bunch. I've only golfed a couple of times, and I really enjoy golfing, but I haven't fit it into my schedule.
You have not.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think, and then for me, maybe some of a bad surprise would be how busy we are. I mean, that sounds like dumb almost, right? To say that you're too busy but
we are. Like, I feel like we are busier since Rich retired. I feel like we are significantly busier than we were when you were working full time.
Yeah. And I think a lot of that is we are going places together. I traveled quite a bit with my job before, but when I was working and she was working, or after she lost her job, even, I'd be gone, but that was work, right? And it didn't feel like that. And when I came home at night after work, when I was home, we just did normal 50-year-old couple stuff, right? Watched TV, I did our YouTube channel or whatever it might've been.
Yeah.
But we have just, and I think I know we agree, we've overscheduled this first year for sure. And
you've heard this from me. He's heard this from me several times. We're too busy. We are too busy. I don't feel like I'm ever caught up. I don't feel like I'm ever able to just be still. And we even did a video about this in the past too, about how it's not uncommon that the first couple years or year or two after you retire, you spend quite a bit of money, you do a lot of stuff, and then you kind of slowly, figure it all out. But it's like we are traveling a lot. And again, we have kids in 4 different states. So that certainly adds to it. It's easier for us to go to them now that Rich is not working. And we have elderly parents in Iowa. So we're traveling up there all the time now. So there's just a lot of things that play into it. But
I wonder how they're going to feel about being called elderly.
I'm sorry, Dad, Mom, mother-in-law. I shouldn't have called him elderly. Oh, well.
That's all right.
It's live. Can we cut that out?
All right. So maybe a bad surprise is it relates a little bit to what Robbie just said. Is the finance part of it. Like I didn't expect that I would
spend more.
Yeah, I didn't expect that I would spend more. I have. It's not a crisis. There's no issue with our finances. It's a crisis with her quite a bit, but in reality, everything's just fine. But all the travel, obviously, it adds up when you're eating out and getting on airplanes and you're taking people to dinner and you're doing different things. And I've got a couple of trips coming up just in the next couple of weeks where I'm going to fishing a couple times in 2 different states, and that's going to cost money. And I think after time, maybe after I settle into this, I kind of feel like once I settle into it, that stuff will spread out more.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about it too. I've shared with you, I don't know if it's because he just wants to make sure that all of his time is filled, but he just says yes to everything. And and I'm tired. Like, I'm like, can we slow down just a little bit? But in the same breath, I totally support it. I want us to do it. It's, yes, we're spending money. But like our financial guy reached out to us not that long ago and basically told us he was really proud of us because we hadn't contacted him and said, hey, we need more money. Right.
Right.
So it was like, you guys must be doing okay. And that kind of made me feel a little bit better because we haven't reached out to him and asked for give us more money because Rich is overspending. So it's we know the spending's okay, but and the thing about it is I don't really want to back away from what we are doing because we can physically do it now. And I know that there's going to be time in the future when we aren't going to travel as much or we won't be able to do all the things that we can do. So we are enjoying it. I get a little more nervous and bent out of shape about it than he does, but
yeah. And I think, in the finance, and I see that one of the questions in the comments right now that someone asked, I'm going to collect at 62. And I don't think I will. I'm 60 right now. I just turned 60 a couple weeks ago. I don't think I will. My financial guy done all the Monte Carlo simulations and all that junk. The plan is that she will collect at 62 and I will wait. My family history leads us to believe that I'm going to live quite a while, maybe well into my 90s even. So waiting till 70 makes the most sense for us from a long-term standpoint. Again, and I've heard all the comments about, Social Security is not going to be around or it's probably going to get changed or whatever. And that may well be, but best information I have right now says to wait until I'm 70 and just take my Social Security then when it's at the maximum benefit.
That is still open for discussion.
Yeah, for sure.
Because my personal feeling on it is that he should take it at 62. And he knows this. So we have we're kind of going off of the advice of a very trusted financial advisor that we have. So, and I will trust him on that, and we'll trust Rich on that when the time comes.
And I've done right. Some other things, through online calculators and things, put in a lot of our information, and all of that also said the best thing was for me to wait until 70 and for her to take it at 62. So it's not like it was just this one guy's opinion that we're taking, although we do trust him.
Right. But as far as that question goes, I can understand that because my instinct is take it as soon as you can take it, because who knows what's going to happen in the next 5, 10, whatever years. And if we do lose Social Security or whatever, I want to take advantage of you collecting that as soon as you can. But we'll see. We got a few years yet, so we'll have to see what happens.
I mean, I guess many of you may not know, like I have I'm a police officer from, 20 years ago. I retired actually 17 years ago. And so I get a partial pension from a police department. I get a partial pension from a Fortune 100 company that I went to work for after I left the police department. And those things together, going from the public sector to the private sector, let me really take advantage of 401k programs at both of my employers. And we've prepared ourselves to be able to, I guess, not live off of the 401k stuff because of the other pensions, but to draw down slowly from that until a time where I need to, possibly get into the Social Security in order to make that last, to our life expectancy, I guess.
Right. I just have to say, I'm starting to read some of these comments. I love it. We got Phoenix here. Somebody's in Des Moines. Oh my gosh, you guys are all over the place. I also like the comments that we're busier too, and that eventually you get into a groove. It's been 8 years for us. Okay, well, that's too long. I'm going to be exhausted if it takes us 8 years.
Yeah, she's pretty anxious.
I just want, I just want to get into a routine, and I just feel like we don't have a routine yet because we're just very busy. But it's okay. I'm doing it with you, so it's good, baby.
So, and we've talked, again, like Robbie said, we've talked about this in previous videos. I think one of the things that's motivated us to do the things we're doing and be as busy and kind of go is, the studies out there that say you never know when you're going to get hurt or sick, and it's going to limit your ability to enjoy your retirement. So I guess I believe those studies.
Yeah.
I hope I'm the exception and not on average, because I think it's on average, it's 66 and a third before something hits you that
life altering,
some life altering event hits you that doesn't allow you to live the life that you've always wanted to live. So,
right.
and so that's only 6 years for me. So I got a lot of fun stuff to cram into 6 years, and that's just if I'm average. So
yeah, yep. I just have to laugh here. I see my dad just commented, yeah, now I really feel elderly. Sorry, Dad. Yeah, and he is having a retirement finally at the age of 84. My father now is officially retired. So love you, Dad. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I just saw that pop up.
And I think the health thing, man.
Oh yeah.
Just in the last
week
or so, I've that's kind of came home a little bit. I've got some knee problems all of a sudden that I've never had my whole life, and I'm sure somebody's going to tell me it's because of pickleball, but I think I actually tweaked it getting out of a golf cart last week when I was playing golf with a buddy, and it hasn't been the same since. So I'm hoping that goes away, but I tweaked my knee and then I'm not using that leg right, and it feels like I pulled a muscle in my butt. So now it's like
everything's
I've got tendonitis in my elbow, for crying out loud. I feel like I'm 90 all of a sudden, but I'm gonna keep going at it.
But on a more serious note though, too, like even since you retired, honey, we've had some sudden deaths out of the blue. A good friend of ours, literally came home from golfing with his boys and walked into his house and had a massive heart attack in front of his wife and passed away. And
he was 60 years old.
So we've had a lot of stuff happen in the last 6 months, but how many times have I looked at you or we've looked at each other and said, I'm glad you retired.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm glad you're done. I'm glad we're doing what we're doing. So, it's definitely, things change quickly as we age. That's for sure.
Yeah. And another question that I got from the kind of video I put out a few days ago announcing this live stream was, what are we going to do about healthcare, or what are the options that we've kind of looked at for healthcare, since we're both not eligible for Medicare at this stage of the game. And right now we're on my Cobra plan from my employer that I left in May. But if I'm honest about it, that's expensive. I mean, it's pretty darn expensive. It's
doable.
It's not, what's weird about my life maybe is I've never had to pay for my own health insurance before because I've always been employed. And, when I worked for city government, that obviously your benefits are there. And I worked for a big corporation. My benefits are from there. And I didn't know what they cost. I just knew they were part of the package. Same thing with my last employer. But now I know what that costs. And, just for our plan, I'm not shy. It's like $1,450 a month. Right.
And that's without dental, or is that with dental?
That's with dental and eye, but dental and eye is,
I mean, it's $1,450, right? It's $1,450 a month. And then on top of that, we have a high deductible. So we're still paying all of our bills up until we haven't even met our deductible this year, which is 7,000 or something.
Yeah. Hopefully we're pretty darn close to that. But on that, on that note, we have been looking at what we're going to do in the future. And I say we, but I really mean she, because she's going to have to be happy with whatever decision is made. And so I'm kind of letting the ball be in her court about where we're going. I think we did spend some time right before I was retiring looking at healthcare.gov and what that would look like. And we went and saw a insurance representative about that. And the cost, I just said we pay $1,450 now. There was not an appreciable difference between that and Cobra, which is why we stayed on Cobra, because we already had part of the deductible met. Right. And plus the healthcare.gov stuff is, the deductibles are pretty high, like $8,000-$9,000 per person though, instead of per family.
Yep.
So that, for sure, Cobra made more sense for us, at least in the short term.
Right.
But we've also taken a look at some other options, and right now, and I'm going to let her talk about it, but I think right now we're probably going to switch to one of the healthcare sharing sort of companies.
Right. So essentially we'll see. We still have a couple meetings coming up to definitely talk through options. but I would say right now we are leaning towards a shared insurance. It's not really insurance. It's basically your self-pay. And in particular, the one that I am the most interested in is Christian Health Ministries. And, it's significantly cheaper in your monthly premiums, but obviously there's you are self-pay and you have incidents that you have to spend a certain amount of money out of your pocket first before then they cover. But looking at it, I still think we're going to come out ahead versus spending $1,400 a month on premiums and then still having $9,000 per person as a deductible. I really think we'll come out way ahead. And, there's a little bit more work involved with it. And we definitely, once we make a decision about healthcare, I will definitely we can come on and be more in depth detail with you guys about what we chose, why we chose it, those kinds of stuff. But I will say, as of right now, that's kind of what we're looking at is Christian Health Ministries, and see how that goes.
Yeah. And what she said about once we make a decision, once she makes a decision, I mean, she's going to say that it's us, and that's fine. I'll let her believe that, but it's whatever she says, because I really want her to be happy with the decision. Maybe I'm living with my head in the sand, but we've always been pretty healthy, normal little stuff that's gone wrong. I know that can change tomorrow, and I'm trying not to jinx myself. But and again, through my employers, I do have a health savings account out there that we can use to, kind of meet some of the unexpected or expected costs that may come up.
Yeah.
But I would say what I would like to tell everyone is to not let fear of healthcare costs keep you from retiring. I mean, if you don't have anything and you don't have anything saved and you don't know, then yes, then having insurance is a big deal. But also go find out what it's going to cost you. And it's all about to change. I know all the subsidies, we're in this government shutdown right now because one side wants the government subsidies to go on forever and the other side doesn't like the government subsidies at all. But if they go away, and I've already heard people are checking because this is the open enrollment time, people are starting to check into it, and their healthcare costs are going up. But the key thing is to know what it costs you and then build it into your plan.
Right.
If you can build that $2,000 into your plan and you can still retire, then don't let the healthcare benefits thing keep you from doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would agree with that. Like, that was a big deal for me when he first said he wanted to retire. I was super concerned. Like, what are we going to do about health insurance? But the more time that I've looked into it and kind of just kept track, okay, this is what we spend every year in healthcare costs. Okay. It's doable. We can still afford to not pay, not have insurance per se, when I'm talking about looking at Christian Health Ministries, because that's not an insurance, that's a health sharing plan. But when I look at that, then it's like, all right, it's actually, I think, still going to be cheaper than what we're spending. So if there's a way to, make things fit together, it takes a lot of investigation. It takes a lot of time, takes a lot of effort. And we'll just have to see where it actually goes. But that's one of the reasons that we haven't officially made a decision either, is because I do want to see what is going to happen with healthcare.gov when the government shutdown is over, hopefully sooner versus later, and we can actually see what it is going to cost to actually have an insurance that's comparable.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah. So I see some more people in the chat. Again, thanks for stopping in. And, some of you I know have been watching us for a while. I've seen our comments on our videos. So I appreciate you, and kind of all over the country. I know I've even got some viewers not on here necessarily that are in Australia and in Canada. So I appreciate the support you guys have given us. And I guess let me do the YouTube thing and say, don't forget to, if you're not subscribed, make sure you are. I assume most of you are if you're watching this live stream, but, and please hit the like button on this and other videos and that notification bell so you know. And, and as we're talking about this live stream, I think if this is something that we want to keep doing, it's going to depend on this. It's going to, after those of you that don't know, that don't do YouTube, and I didn't know and still don't really know, this becomes a video that goes out after this live stream is over. And if this does well and people appreciate it, then we may set this, may put some sort of a schedule in where we do this once a month or once a quarter or whatever, or we'll do this every once in a while and we'll add a video as well. I mean, our goal has never been to make this a side hustle, so to speak, to pay for anything. It's really just it's fun for me and it's tolerable for her. So we enjoy this medium, I guess, and I enjoy having the conversations. So again, make sure you're subscribed to our channel and, share us around if you want. I mean, I think if you're around our age, this isn't something that we grew up doing, right? We didn't have YouTube. We didn't have people out there kind of giving unsolicited advice, which is kind of what I feel like I'm doing a lot, is giving unsolicited advice. But my thought on it is, if I can make the decision a little bit easier for someone else, then I'm doing the right thing. And and I guess now that makes me think of something else. One of the reasons that I retired, and I had this conversation with God that I mentioned about earlier, was things I wanted to do with my church that I have time to do now that I didn't have time to do
while you were working.
While I was working. Yeah. So those things are moving forward. Like we got one more week of a training session for some caregivers that I'm facilitating at our church to help people in crisis. I'm pushing really hard to try to get some things going that are specific to men in our church. Kind of beating my head against the wall on some of that, it feels like, but that's kind of where I feel like I'm called to serve my community, my church, and, my people and my God, I guess. So, and I think that's where we're going. I think Robi is still, whether she'd admit it or not, she's still kind of dealing with the unexpected loss of her career. Yeah. And she's doing some part-time work.
Yeah. I mean, I'm working PRN, at a very low stressful, actually I start IVs. Essentially, I'm working at an IV clinic, helping people, if they need an IV bag. So very low stress. I just do PRN work. But Rich is right. I still am kind of processing, and it's been over a year since I abruptly lost my job. And, but that's not the way that I wanted to end my career. So it's been hard for me. I will say progressively, the longer that Rich has been retired, the less I want to go to work, even if it's 4 days a month or 5 days a month, which I have. I mean, this month, I think I'm only doing 4 days. Last month I might've done 6 days or something, but, so I'm not working very much, but I'm still just holding on to that little ounce of, I don't know if it's control. I'm not sure what it is, but the longer like I said, the longer he's been retired, it's getting easier to not work as much, because it is hard for me to get up and go to work when I'm like, hey honey, what are you doing today? And he's like, well, I'm going to play pickleball, and then I don't know, I'll probably go to the grocery store.
I usually say whatever I want.
Yeah, he does always say that, whatever I want. That is very true. So, so we'll see what happens. We'll see. Yeah. I'm not sure if I'm going to continue or not continue, but for right now, I'm continuing what I'm doing.
And maybe as we kind of head to wrap this up, and we've already been on almost 35 minutes. What? That's crazy. Talk a little bit about what I think about the future. I think I'd be lying if I didn't say I'm a little nervous about keeping myself engaged over the winter. I know pickleball, I can move indoors for that, but I don't know. I like the outdoors. I walk 4 or 5 miles every day. That'll be harder when it's cold out. We spent some time last night just watching inane videos about part-time remote work. If I just wanted to sit at my desk and try to do some stupid stuff on a computer, I don't know. I don't need extra money. I mean, obviously money's always great, but just to kind of keep my mind engaged and keep from getting bored over the winter months. There's a little bit of nerves about that, but I think that's where maybe the plants are stepping in. Robbie doesn't want me to get a pet right now, so that I can't get into that. So
oh Lord, we are never home. Like he says that we sit around last night and watch TV. Like that's like unusual because we are not ever home. So it's like, don't bring. We've had pets in the past, but I'm like, don't bring pets into the right and now into this time because we're never here.
We don't need to have this conversation again.
No, I think we
I've
should.
heard this a million times. So yeah, there's a little bit of trepidation on my part about what I'm going to do. I'm afraid of descending into. I play video games on the computer as well. I play some with my daughter. I play just games that I'm sure 12-year-olds all over the country have been beating me at games forever now. But I enjoy that, but I don't want to be that guy that sits in his office playing on his computer all day either. YouTube's fun.
Yep.
But yeah, we'll see where it goes. And I guess just the thought that it's a problem, that it may be a problem has already got me looking for ways to fill my time that would be more productive.
Now you mentioned games, and now people want to know what video games you play. Don't ask him. Don't ask him what games he plays.
So you can ask me. I play Call of Duty. I've been playing Pal World with my daughter. That's kind of a fantasy, kind of weird game. Mm-hmm. But I play some city building games, and
he engages his mind. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, and I fully believe in it. One of my other friends is on here, Mark, that plays pickleball with me. A couple of them, actually 2 Marks that play pickleball with me. They talk about how fast my hands are, and I'm telling you, it's because of playing video games, connecting with the screen, making my hands move fast to do that stuff. That's what it's helping me in many ways. And also I've heard that fends off Alzheimer's disease.
Yeah.
If your hand-eye coordination is top notch. So
yeah.
I'm working on all that. Why not?
Mm-hmm. Yep. What else? I see a bunch of stuff in here too about you won't get bored. So there you go. There's encouragement, babe. Because I am never bored. I can always find something to do. There's something to clean. There's something to reorganize. There's something like, if I have a minute of free time, that's unusual. I don't sit down very well. You sit down much better than I do. And that's when he comes in and games and, whatever. But yeah, I'm not bored at all. I think maybe one day I came home from work and you made one comment about, I was kind of bored today, but I've never heard that other than the one time. So I don't think he's going to get bored either this winter.
We'll see where it goes. Well, again, I guess that's probably good enough. And I appreciate, I know there's a lot of friends on here that I've talked to recently about this. So thank you for tuning in.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Mike and Don, Mark and Joni, just lots of Mike in retirement. Thank you, Sheila. Rebecca, thank you. All those that have been on here. And we'll see how this goes. We'll see if we do this again, depending on how it is. But I think I'm enjoying myself. Are you?
It went better than I thought. I was like, Rich, we can't do a live because when I say something stupid, then how are you going to edit it out? But we did a live.
And who needs to edit it out? Her stupid's still cute, so it's all right.
It's gone great. Thank you guys. Appreciate all of you interacting with us very much so.
Okay. Well, thanks again. And maybe we'll see you again on our live stream. So have a great night, everybody. God bless.